Good evening, friends. Dr. Dan here again. Today I'm coming at you to talk a little bit about fish oil. We had an amazing event on the weekend, and I shared with some experts, GPs, other scientists, a little bit about the benefits when it comes to taking a good quality fish oil supplement. So those of you that may know, I actually studied fish oil, tried to develop a super fish oil during my PhD. And we were very successful in doing that, and now it's in the drug discovery trials. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about the mode of action and the benefits of fish oil. And then in my next Facebook Live video, I wanted to give you 4 quick tips to choosing a fish oil supplement, if that's okay with you. Okay, let's get started. So very basically, what happens in your skin, you've got a layer in here, and during the inflammation process, that layer actually breaks apart to what's called arachidonic acid. Now, arachidonic acid goes through this cascade of chemical signals and it binds to what's known as COX-2 and COX-1. Now, I know what you're thinking, this is too much for me to understand, so let's just keep it simple. When it binds to that particular enzyme, it leads to the inflammation, the swelling, the redness, the pain. That's actually a good thing because your body is telling you to actually stop putting weight on either your toe or your foot so that it can actually heal. Now, for many years, scientists thought that that process of inflammation just occurred normally and then it would just resolve by itself. But it wasn't until 15 years ago that a team of researchers out of Harvard University, very famous team of researchers, actually discovered some amazing compounds called protectins, resolvins, and maricins. And what these do is they actually help resolve the inflammation in your body. And they do so by forming leukocytes and also macrophages and monocytes. So you can think of them as the Pac-Man in your body. They'll go in and they'll chomp up all the bad stuff and get rid of it so that that redness and swelling actually subsides. That's very powerful. Now, in traditional medicine, you've got what's called non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So Panadol is one, ibuprofen is another. They're called NSAIDs, and they're very effective at being able to block inflammation. But the problem that you get if you take them at high doses, and in some instances, some people are susceptible to this, is gastrointestinal bleeding, which is a big issue. So we don't want that. The other form of anti-inflammatory is also known as corticosteroids. You've probably all heard of them before. And essentially these are very powerful anti-inflammatories. They work like a treat. But the problem that you face is that if you take them for long periods of time, over time this actually leads to your immune system being suppressed and it eats away your bones. Now, for many years, scientists have known that fish oil and fish itself, fish consumption, is actually beneficial. There was many studies that I looked at in my research that showed the Inuit, which is the Eskimos, had lower rates of heart attacks and lower rates of strokes by consuming fish on a regular basis. And it wasn't until 10-15 years ago that they realized that it's actually because of the fish oil, the EPA and the DHA. So although fish oil contains a whole bunch of different compounds, the ones you want to be looking at is the omega-3s, the EPA, so docosahexaenoic acid, and docosahexaenoic acid, DHA. It's all you need to know. And when you're looking for a good quality fish oil supplement, you want to be taking roughly around 800 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams per day. So a good quality supplement, a fish oil supplement, is around 2 tablets of fish oil. I prefer Biomega, but everyone is different. So that's what you want to be consuming every single day. Now, because the half-life is the time taken for the fish oil to actually half in concentration in your body. For EPA and DHA is around 10 to 12 hours. For the compounds that they metabolize into, it's around 5 to 6 hours. You need to be taking 1 tablet in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. So you need to constantly be taking your fish oil, which is very important. And I also recommend taking your fish oil tablets with something that's fat soluble. So some milk, or even some avocado, so it aids in the absorption process. Now, that 800 to 1,000 milligrams is around about the optimal amount. I will warn you, if you get around the 3 grams to the 4 grams, It can be a blood thinner, so if you are on warfarin, please consult your GP if you are taking high doses of fish oil supplementation. And if you're a female that is pregnant, it's actually very important to take a good quality fish oil supplement, especially in the 3rd trimester, because that's when the baby's brain development is really occurring and they soak up the use of DHA, so very, very important. So just lastly, the benefits of fish oil, that's what I promised. And I'll wrap this up and let you go back to eating your dinner. So there's so many different benefits for taking good quality fish oil. We've seen it countless number of times in literature. When I was doing my research, a lot of diseases are chronic inflammatory related. What does that mean, friends? Well, that means that basically they are prolonged. It's where that inflammatory process, that redness and that swelling is out of control. It just doesn't stop. And it's usually either hereditary or because of these stimuli that are in our environment. So for instance, if you're eating bad foods, what I like to call the SAD diet, the standard Australian diet, sugary drinks, pumping yourself full of sugar. So they're a real issue, okay? And so certain chronic inflammatory related diseases can lead to death. We know that. So cancer, type 2 diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, neurological diseases such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, they're all chronic inflammatory related diseases. So that basically means that inflammatory process is out of control. And there's so many different stimuli and triggers that are occurring over a long period of time that it's just like you're pushing the on button, and once you try and get that on button off, it's just not going off. So fish oil has been shown to assist in these processes. Obviously, after all, it is anti-inflammatory. So it doesn't cure, it doesn't treat, but what it does do, if you basically take your fish oil on a regular basis, it does actually get your inflammation under check. And that's very, very important. Because remember, we're all about trying to, I guess, prevent certain chronic inflammatory related diseases occurring, as opposed to treating the symptoms with your NSAIDs, your non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, and your corticosteroids. So the main message there is take a good quality fish oil supplement, around 800 to 1,000 milligrams every single day, probably twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. And if you do this over a long period of time, studies have shown it can assist in curbing chronic inflammatory related diseases. Of course, with a whole plethora of other things. There's many different variables you need to consider, but this is one great tip that you can actually apply right now. So if you want to learn a little bit about the fish oil that I take, please PM me on my Facebook Messenger. I'm happy to share my knowledge with you. And until next time, I will see you later. I will be posting another Facebook Live about the actual fish oil supplements that you should be taking and the types of fish oils that you should be looking at, because there's so many different supplements on the market. You go into a pharmacy and you just get bombarded with thousands of fish oil supplements. So stay tuned. I'm going to be posting that very, very shortly, probably 4 or 5 days, and I look forward to your comments. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye.